I didn't tell anyone my baby's name, not my mother, not my sister, not even my husband. My sister Audrey stole the first name I ever chose for a child. I was 7 months pregnant when I told my family at Sunday dinner that his name would be Jonah, after our grandfather. He was the only person in my family who made me feel like I mattered. Audrey wasn't pregnant. She smiled across the table and said it was beautiful. 2 months after my son was born, she announced her pregnancy and told everyone the baby's name was Jonah. I renamed my son Oliver because my mother called and said to let Audrey have it. She was having a difficult pregnancy and needed something to look forward to. 3 years later, I got pregnant again. This time, nobody would know until I was holding my baby. I chose her name alone, wrote it on a piece of paper, sealed it in an envelope, and locked it in my desk at work. Not a drawer at home. Not somewhere my husband might stumble on it. My office desk, behind a lock only I had the key to. Audrey started asking immediately. Every dinner, every text, every phone call. Have you picked a name yet? Just tell me so we don't overlap. As if Jonah was an accident and not a theft. I told everyone we were keeping it a surprise. My mother pushed harder. Just tell your sister. She's trying to be respectful this time. I smiled and said nothing. My husband asked once. Privately. I said no. He looked hurt. You don't trust me? I looked him in the eyes. You told Audrey about Jonah and I had to rename my son. He went quiet and never brought it up again. At 7 months, my mother showed up at my house unannounced. She sat at my kitchen table and told me Audrey was thinking about using the name Vivienne for her next baby. She wasn't even pregnant. My mother said I should steer clear of that one to keep the peace. That's when I understood. My mother wasn't checking on me. She was scouting names for Audrey. At my baby shower, Audrey stood up and gave a toast about sisterhood, about how our children would grow up as best friends. Then she handed me a gift, a leather journal with every family name written inside and highlighted in yellow, except the ones she'd already claimed. She looked at me and smiled. Maybe this will help you finally decide. 25 people laughed. I thanked her and set it aside. A week later, Audrey started texting me name suggestions. Charlotte, Margot, Penelope, 3 or 4 a day, always with a reason attached. Charlotte is classic. Margot is French and elegant. You'd love Penelope. It has nicknames. She wasn't helping me. She was steering me. If she couldn't steal my name this time, she'd pick one for me instead. 2 weeks before my due date, Audrey called crying. She said I was shutting her out, that keeping the name secret was cruel and childish, and I was punishing her for something that happened years ago. My mother took the phone and said I was tearing the family apart over a name. I listened to both of them for 14 minutes, then I said, I love you both. The name will be a surprise. And I hung up. Labor started at 4 in the morning. My husband drove in silence. At a red light, he looked over at me. Will I find out today? I said, when she's born. He held my hand and didn't say another word. She arrived at 6:22 a.m. The nurse asked for a name for the birth certificate. I looked at my husband, Vivienne, after Nana. His eyes filled instantly. Our grandmother, the woman who taught me to read, who let me sleep in her bed during thunderstorms, who died when I was 12 and left a hole nothing ever filled. He whispered it back to me. Vivienne. Then he kissed her forehead. My mother walked in first, already smiling. So, what's my granddaughter's name? Vivienne. The smile disappeared. You can't use that. I told you Audrey wanted it. Audrey isn't pregnant. She doesn't get to reserve names for children that don't exist. And Nana's name is not yours to hand out. Audrey showed up 20 minutes later. She saw the name on the whiteboard and went pale. You're kidding me. No. Mom told you I wanted that name. And Nana was my grandmother too. You took Jonah from me. You don't get to take Vivienne. She looked at our mother for support. My mother opened her mouth, then closed it. She looked at the baby. She looked at me. And for the first time in my life, she didn't choose Audrey. Audrey left without holding her. My mother stayed. She picked up Vivienne, looked down at her face, and said very quietly, she looks just like her. She meant Nana.